During an argument about her childhood best friend, my wife snapped, Adam and I have a history. He will always be more important than you. So I filed for divorce and gave her a reality check. 10 months later, she's a single mother and begging for help. Sup, Reddit. I noticed my wife was being a bit too close to her childhood friend. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not an insecure type, but I am not stupid either. When I confronted her, she told me to stop being a jerk. Adam was there before you. So I didn't waste time, filed for divorce, and moved on. 10 months later, well, grab your snacks. This one is wilder than you think. Let me set the scene first. I, 30 male, have been a lineman for 8 years now. We serve Central Kansas. The work isn't glamorous, but it's honest and pays well. My ex-wife Amelia and I had what looked like a good life in Wichita. I owned the house, bought it 2 years before we met, kept the title clean, mortgage in my name only. Thank God. She was a graphic designer, freelance mostly, pulling decent money designing logos for local businesses and the occasional website project. We split the bills fairly. I covered the steady expenses like mortgage, utilities, and insurance, while she handled groceries and her own business costs. Her income fluctuated wildly depending on projects, but mathematically it worked out. Our routines were tight and predictable. I'd wake up at 5:30, hit the garage gym I'd built out with a squat rack and Olympic weights. 45 minutes of squats, bench, deadlifts, and overhead press before most people were awake. Amelia never understood the appeal, preferred the idea of a regular gym membership like normal people. Anyways, after my workout, we'd cross paths in the kitchen. Coffee for me, some fancy tea blend for her. I'd check the weather radar. She'd scroll through design inspiration on Pinterest. Then I'd roll out for work while she started her day from the home office. By evenings, I'd get home around 4 unless we caught a call out. Amelia usually wrapped up work by 5. We'd walk Ranger together. My German Shepherd I'd trained from 8 weeks old. The dog was dialed in because I put in the work, though Amelia preferred giving him treats without commands and undermining the structure I'd built. Ranger came from a working line breeder outside Salina. I'd picked him out at 6 weeks, brought him home at 8, and started structure training immediately. By 6 months, he had reliable sit, down, stay, come, and heel. Life was stable. We had routines, split responsibilities, and didn't fight much. I thought that counted for something. Amelia seemed content with our setup, or at least she never complained about it directly. The signs were subtle at first. She started checking her phone more during dinner, laughing at texts she wouldn't share. New inside jokes I wasn't part of. But honestly, after 10 hours of switching out transformers or restringing conductor, I wasn't looking for drama. I just wanted to eat, walk the dog, and crash. That's when she started talking about Adam more often. Her childhood best friend from high school who'd moved back to Wichita with his wife Bella. Amelia was excited to reconnect, which seemed normal enough. Old friends moving back to town, wanting to catch up. I didn't think much of it. She pitched the dinner idea on a Tuesday. Adam and his wife Bella wanted to have us over, get to know each other since we'd all be hanging out. She had been talking about Adam for weeks, and I figured it was time to put a face to the name. Their place was across town in Riverside, one of those newer developments with tiny yards and houses built 6 inches apart. Adam answered the door. Average height, designer jeans, probably spent more on his haircut than I spent on boots. The handshake was firm enough, but he had desk job hands. Soft palms, manicured nails, the works. Guy looked exactly like what he was, a marketing professional who'd never done manual labor in his life. Bella was different. Quiet, polite, but something felt off. She smiled when Amelia hugged her, but it didn't reach her eyes. And Amelia? Hand on Adam's arm while talking and acting a bit too close with him? I still didn't mind, old friends and all, and I am not insecure. Dinner conversation started normal. Adam worked in marketing for some tech startup downtown. Bella was a CPA with her own small practice. They asked about my work, and I gave them the standard explanation, keeping the lights on when Mother Nature throws a tantrum. Amelia jumped in with stories about me getting called out at 3 a.m., making it sound more heroic than it was. But here's where things got weird. Amelia and Adam kept referencing shared memories that excluded everyone else. High school this, college that, remember when we used to, whatever. Bella and I might as well have been furniture. Every story started with, remember when we, and ended with them laughing while Bella stared at her plate like she was considering setting it on fire. Amelia would grab his wrist when making a point. He'd nudge her shoulder when telling a story. Nothing inappropriate, but it just felt wrong. You know when your gut is screaming at you. I started paying more attention. Bella excused herself to the bathroom twice, and both times Amelia barely noticed. Then Bella's responses got shorter as the evening progressed. When Amelia complimented Adam's cooking, Bella muttered something about him never cooking when it was just the two of them. Small details, but they painted a picture. After dinner, Adam suggested we check out their back deck. Amelia immediately linked arms with him while walking outside, leaving Bella and me to follow. I found myself making small talk with her about property taxes, while Amelia and Adam had their own conversation 10 feet away. She was easy to talk to, asked good questions about my work, and seemed genuinely interested. When I mentioned the mutual aid deployments, she wanted to know about the logistics, how crews coordinate across state lines, how we handle different utility standards, what it's like working 16-hour shifts in disaster zones. Must be satisfying, she said, fixing something that thousands of people depend on. Better than sitting in meetings about meetings, I replied. She actually laughed. Meanwhile, Amelia and Adam were in their own bubble, and when Adam's phone buzzed, Amelia peeked at the screen like it was the most natural thing in the world. That's when I knew this wasn't just old friends catching up. Bella and I made eye contact for a second, and I knew we were both thinking the same thing. The drive home was quiet. Amelia stared out the window, smiling to herself. I asked what she thought of Bella, and she shrugged. She's fine. A little uptight, maybe. Adam says she works too much. What about Adam? I asked. He's exactly like I remembered. Funny, smart, easy to talk to. I'm so glad he moved back to Wichita. I bet she was. Over the next few weeks, the pattern became clear. Amelia started staying up late on her phone, helping Adam with design projects for his company. Funny thing about design work, it usually doesn't require texting until midnight. She'd laugh at her screen during morning coffee, then quickly close whatever app she was using when I looked over. The second dinner happened 2 weeks later, this time at our place. The same dynamic played out. Amelia and Adam in their own bubble, Bella and me making conversation about everything except the obvious. Bella mentioned they were thinking about taking a weekend trip to Denver. Adam immediately suggested Amelia and I should come along. It would be so fun, just like old times. Amelia lit up like Christmas morning. After they left, Amelia spent an hour texting. When I asked who she was talking to, she said Adam was sending her photos from their high school reunion, photos that apparently required immediate responses. The breaking point came when Amelia announced she was going to help Adam pick out a birthday gift for Bella. They'd spend Saturday afternoon shopping together, just the two of them, because Adam knows I have great taste and Bella's so hard to shop for. Because nothing says platonic friendship like a married woman spending 6 hours alone with another woman's husband to buy gifts for said woman. I'm sure Hallmark has a card for that. Sorry I'm emotionally cheating with your husband, but look at this thoughtful necklace we picked out together. I pointed out that maybe Bella would prefer to pick out her own gift, or that we could all go together. Amelia rolled her eyes and said I was being weird about her friendship. Adam and I have always been close. You knew that when you married me. Yeah, I knew they were friends. I didn't know friendship included solo shopping dates and midnight design consultations. I know what you're thinking, but I still stayed quiet. I wanted to see how far she'd go, maybe to prove to myself I am not the problem here. The shopping trip was the catalyst, but the explosion came later that week. Amelia spent 6 hours with Adam gift shopping, came home with bags from stores she'd never shopped at before, and immediately locked herself in the bathroom for an hour. When she came out, her hair was different, and she was wearing perfume she'd bought that day. She'd also bought new underwear. Expensive stuff. When I asked about it, she said she was trying to feel better about herself, and that sometimes new lingerie helped with confidence. Right. Because that's what married women do. Buy lingerie to boost confidence while shopping with other women's husbands. Victoria's Secret must have a whole section for that demographic. Adultery and confidence, aisle 6. I asked how the shopping went. Great. We found the perfect necklace for Bella. Adam has such good taste. Then she launched into a detailed review of their day. Lunch at some trendy place downtown, browsing boutiques I'd never heard of, stopping for coffee at 3 different shops because they kept finding cute places to sit and talk. Sounded like a date to me, but what do I know? That's when the argument started. I mentioned that maybe Amelia could include Bella more in their friendship activities, since the woman seemed uncomfortable. Amelia's response was immediate and defensive. Bella's just jealous because she doesn't have a close friendship like Adam and I do. Not everyone understands how special our connection is. Special connection. Right. I'm sure that's what they're calling it these days. I tried a different angle. Maybe we could do more double dates that actually involved all 4 people instead of Amelia and Adam having private conversations while Bella and I watched. Amelia rolled her eyes and got defensive real quick. Oh my God, so now you're being insecure because I have a male friend? We are in the 21st century, Ezra. Grow up. It's not about male friends, I said. It's about boundaries and respect. You're acting like his girlfriend, not his friend. That's when her mask slipped. Maybe if you put half as much effort into our relationship as Adam does, I wouldn't need to get emotional support from someone else. The argument escalated over the next hour. She accused me of being controlling, jealous, and threatened by Adam's success. I pointed out that success doesn't typically require midnight texting sessions with married women. She said I didn't understand their history, their bond, their special dynamic. We've been through everything together, she said. Breakups, college stress, family drama. He knows me better than anyone. Including your husband? I asked. That's different. You're my partner. Adam is my person. Your person. While married to someone else. While his wife sits in our living room making awkward conversation because her husband is too busy being someone else's person to notice her discomfort. I tried logic. How would you feel if I had a female friend I texted until midnight, went on solo shopping trips with, and called my person? Her response was classic deflection. That's completely different. Adam and I have been friends for 15 years. We're not doing anything wrong. Then why does Bella look miserable every time we hang out? Because she's insecure and controlling. Adam says she gets jealous of all his friendships, Adam says. Of course. The final straw came 3 days later. Amelia announced she was going to a concert with Adam, some band I'd never heard of, playing at a venue downtown. Bella wasn't invited because she doesn't like their music and would just complain the whole time. I was done. Since when married people go to concerts together? Listen, Amelia, if you think I am stupid here, you are dead wrong. I have been patient and understanding, but that's just too much. You don't get to control who I'm friends with. Adam has been there for me through everything. He's never let me down, never made me feel bad about myself, never tried to change who I am. I was apparently guilty of all those things. Never mind that I'd never once asked her to change, never criticized her career choices, never made her feel bad about anything except maybe her inability to train the damn dog properly. He understands me in ways you never will, she continued. We have a connection that goes deeper than anything else in my life. He's not just my friend. He's my soulmate. I stayed calm. Oh, really? And where does that leave us? Roommates. Her answer killed whatever was left of our marriage. He was here before you came into my life. He will always be more important than you. So stop being an insecure jerk. There it was. The truth she'd been dancing around for months and made me feel crazy for noticing it. I wasn't her husband. I was the guy who paid half the bills while she played house with someone else's spouse. I just nodded. Good to know. Ew. The room went silent for a minute. I could see her getting confused. She expected a fight. She expected me to beg, argue, or try to compete with Adam for her attention. What do you mean? I mean what I said. It's good to know where I stand here. Right. So now you're going to play victim and make me feel guilty for wanting to have fun with my best friend and... I smiled. Amelia. Conversation is over. Go and have fun. I mean it. She stared at me for a moment, then walked out. I went upstairs, checked my bank account on my phone, and started planning for my next move. She'd made her choice. Now I was making mine. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. Made her tea, scrolled through her phone, texted Adam good morning while I drank my coffee. She probably thought she'd won, that I'd accepted my place as the backup option to her soulmate. She was wrong. I don't do backup. Time to handle this like business. And my business with her was done. I went quiet for 2 weeks. Not feeling sorry for myself, but planning. I needed to understand Kansas divorce law, document our financial situation, and plan my approach without tipping Amelia off. She'd gotten comfortable thinking I was too weak to challenge her disrespect. That comfort would work in my favor. I spent my lunch breaks at the Wichita Public Library, researching divorce statutes and case law. Kansas is an equitable distribution state, not community property, which meant the judge had discretion about asset division. The house was mine, bought before marriage, title clean. No-fault divorce meant I didn't need to prove adultery, just incompatibility. But documenting financial misconduct could still affect asset division. Every dollar Amelia spent on her friendship was a dollar she'd taken from our joint account for activities that excluded me. The first stop was my bank. I opened a new individual account at a different bank and started tracking every deposit. My paychecks, Amelia's freelance payments, when money went in, and where it came from. I couldn't just drain our joint account. That's technically theft. But I could protect my contributions with proper documentation. The joint account told an interesting story when I analyzed the statements. My paychecks went in like clockwork. Same amount every 2 weeks, direct deposit, predictable. Amelia's deposits were erratic, But her spending was constant. Restaurants I'd never been to, clothing stores I'd never heard of, charges for Kansas City on weekends when she claimed to be home working. The second stop. I called a lawyer. Tom was a family law specialist with 20 years of experience and a good reputation. He laid out Kansas divorce law in simple terms. No-fault state, equitable distribution of marital assets, separate property stays, separate if you can prove it. Document everything, he said. Communication, financial transactions, any evidence of dissipation of marital assets. The courts don't care why your marriage failed, but they care if someone wasted marital money on inappropriate activities. Inappropriate activities, like concerts and shopping trips with other women's husbands. I started screenshotting Amelia's texts when she left her phone lying around to document the financial impact of her friendship. The credit card statements were revealing. $150 dinner charges at upscale restaurants on nights when I ate leftover casserole at home. Concert tickets for $200, purchased the same day Amelia told me she was too tired to go out with me. Week 3, something interesting happened. Bella texted me, "Hi Ezra, this might be weird, but do you have time to talk? I'm starting to feel crazy, and you're the only other person who might understand what I'm seeing." We met for coffee. She looked tired, stressed, like someone who'd been gaslighting herself for months. "I'm not paranoid, right?" she asked. The way they act around each other isn't normal friendship behavior. I told her about Amelia's soulmate comment, about being informed that Adam would always be more important than me. Bella's face went white. "She said that? To your face?" Word for word. Bella stared at her coffee for a long moment. Adam's been different for months. Secretive, always on his phone, making plans without including me. When I ask about it, he says I'm being controlling and that Amelia is just a friend who needs support. Support for what? Her unhappy marriage, apparently. According to Adam, you don't appreciate her, and she feels unheard in the relationship. That was rich. "There's something else," Bella continued. "We have a prenup. My family insisted on it before we married, because I inherited some property from my grandmother. If Adam files for divorce, he gets minimal alimony and no claim on my separate assets. But if I file, I keep everything, and he gets standard spousal support for maybe 2 years max. Why are you telling me this? Because if they're doing what I think they're doing, I want them to face consequences. And if Amelia thinks she's getting a fairy tale ending with Adam, she should know what his financial situation will look like after I'm done with him." She had steel in her spine. I like that about her. "Plus," she added with a dry smile, "I'm tired of being the only adult in a room full of teenagers playing house." I smirked. "Don't worry, you're not alone in this." We agreed to keep each other informed if we discovered anything concrete. 2 days later, Amelia announced she was taking a girls' weekend trip to Kansas City. Funny thing, she didn't mention which girl she was going with, and when I asked, she got defensive about me checking up on her. "I need space to think about us," she said. "Maybe some time apart will help you realize what you are doing to our marriage because of your insecurities." I played along. "You're right, Amelia. Maybe I should think about it." Then I helped her pack, even carried her bag to the car, smiled and told her to have fun. She seemed confused by my lack of drama, but she drove off anyway. 4 hours later, Bella texted me a photo. Amelia's car in the parking lot of a downtown Kansas City hotel, Adam's car parked 2 spaces away. "Girls' weekend," Bella wrote. "Guess the girls include my husband." That was all the evidence I needed. I forwarded the photo to Tom with a note. "Please prepare the paperwork. I'll bring you financial documentation on Monday." Amelia came home Sunday night with shopping bags and stories about spa treatments and girl talk. She seemed refreshed, happy, like she'd solved some major life problem. In a way, she had. She'd just solved it differently than she intended. Bella worked fast. Monday morning, she checked Adam's phone while he was in the shower, found hotel receipts, restaurant charges, and text conversations that left no doubt about what their friendship had become. The texts were pathetic. Adam complaining about feeling unappreciated by Bella, Amelia whining about feeling trapped in an emotionally unavailable marriage. 2 people convincing each other that their spouses were the problem while they played house in hotels. "You understand me like no one else," Bella read to me over the phone. "I wish I'd married you instead. That's from my husband to your wife, dated last Thursday." Bella photographed everything before Adam got out of the shower. Bank statements showing hotel charges, restaurant receipts, even a jewelry purchase I recognized. The gift for Bella that Amelia had helped Adam pick out. Except it wasn't for Bella. The receipt clearly showed Amelia's ring size. "I'm filing today," Bella said. "My lawyer says we can serve him this afternoon. How's your timeline looking?" "Tomorrow," I told her. "I want them both served on the same day." Tuesday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Amelia was in her home office, probably texting Adam about their next secret weekend. The doorbell rang. She called for me to answer it, but I was in the garage organizing tools. I heard voices through the kitchen window. She was arguing with someone about papers she didn't want to accept. Yeah, guess what papers? Hey, hey, hey. The process server explaining that refusal to accept service doesn't prevent legal service. Amelia's voice getting higher as reality set in. The guy was professional about it. He explained the documents clearly, answered her questions politely, and made it clear that throwing the papers back at him wouldn't make them disappear. By the time she burst into the garage, Amelia had been thoroughly educated on how legal service actually works. She burst into the garage holding the divorce papers, face red with anger and shock. "What the hell is this, Ezra?" "Paperwork," I said, not looking up from my tool bench. "For dissolution of marriage due to incompatibility." "What the hell is wrong with you? You can't just divorce me without warning." "My bad. I'll notify you next time." She didn't like that. She threw something towards me, then started yelling, "You are such an asshole! I can't believe you're doing this to me! How dare you! After years of marriage, you throw everything away because you are such an insecure little—" "Enough," I snapped. "You still got the nerve to lie to my face? Listen here, you bitch. Don't think you can fool me here. I know everything. I saw everything. So watch your damn mouth. You don't get to talk anymore. Understood?" She went silent. Waterworks started. "My lawyer will handle all communication from here." She broke down, started crying. She was genuinely shocked. "No, Ezra, please listen. Whatever you think you saw is absolutely fake. I would never." "Adam's getting served right about now, too," I mentioned casually. Bella found some interesting photos on his phone. Her face went white. No, that bitch. She must have sent you photoshopped things." "Ezra, please listen to me. She is jealous of—" "Amelia." I cut her again. "You are making yourself look even more pathetic now. We're done. What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? Please don't be so cruel," she asked. "Figure it out. You've got your soulmate to help with logistics." That hit home. She left that night to stay with her sister. Within 24 hours, the flying monkeys started circling. Her sister called me a controlling asshole. Her friend Megan texted paragraphs about what a mistake I was making. Even her mom called to lecture me about abandoning my wife during a difficult time. I responded to exactly none of it, changed my number, blocked them all on social media, and let Tom handle any communication that actually mattered. The interesting part was what happened to Adam and Amelia after their secret was out. Instead of hiding their relationship, they went public immediately. Amelia moved in with Adam within a week. They posted couple photos on Facebook, checked into restaurants together, acted like teenage rebels who'd finally found true love. Problem was, Adam's divorce wasn't finalized. Bella's prenup meant he was about to lose his comfortable lifestyle, and Amelia's divorce meant she was losing her comfortable house. Two people who'd built a fantasy around forbidden romance suddenly faced the reality of starting over together with limited resources. The fairy tale was about to meet the real world. 3 months post-filing, my life had structure again. Real structure, not the performative routine of pretending to be married to someone whose heart belonged to another man. Work was steady and satisfying. Storm season brought mutual aid deployments across Kansas and Oklahoma. I spent 2 weeks in Joplin, helping rebuild distribution lines after a tornado outbreak, working 12-hour shifts and banking overtime that padded my post-divorce savings. My supervisor noticed the change. "You've been more focused lately," he said during my quarterly review. "Whatever stuff you were dealing with, looks like you sorted it out." I'd been promoted to lead lineman on my crew, which came with better pay and first pick of overtime assignments. Physical training became my religion. The garage gym saw daily use, and the numbers climbed steadily. Bench press went from 205 times 5 to 245 times 5. Squats jumped from 315 times 5 to 365 times 5. Deadlifts climbed to 405 times 3, and overhead press hit 135 times 5. Consistent progress from having unlimited time to focus on myself. Kind of refreshing after months of trying to decode what everything's fine actually meant. Some days I lifted angry, some days I lifted tired, but I showed up every morning at 5:30 and moved weight until my head was clear. Ranger thrived with the extra attention. We worked obedience daily. Sit, down, heel, place commands until they were bulletproof. Introduced him to an e-collar system and spent weeks conditioning him properly. Now he could hold a place command for 20 minutes while I worked in the garage, and his recall was instant even with distractions. The dog needed daily mileage, so we started running together. 3 miles became 5, 5 became 7. He loved the routine, and I needed the mental reset that comes from putting one foot in front of the other until your brain stops churning. 5 months after filing, I bought the Indian Scout bobber I'd been researching. Black on black, mid-controls, Vance and Hines slip-ons, and a tail tidy that cleaned up the rear end. Took the MSF course, bought proper gear, and started exploring Kansas back roads on weekends. The Scout was perfect for Kansas riding. Enough torquey to pass anything on the highway, comfortable enough for all-day trips, reliable enough that I never worried about being stranded. Indian had nailed the build quality, and the 1133 cubic centimeter engine had that perfect V-twin rumble that made every ride feel like therapy. The bike was pure freedom. Weekend rides became my reset button. I'd head out Saturday morning with no particular destination, follow farm roads through the Flint Hills, stop at small-town diners where the coffee was strong and the conversations were genuine. Money flowed differently without Amelia's expenses. No more joint credit card charges for restaurants I'd never been to, boutique shopping sprees, or mysterious weekend trips. My individual account grew steadily while Amelia and Adam figured out how expensive their true love actually was. Through Bella and mutual friends, I heard updates about their situation. Adam's divorce was costing him exactly what Bella had warned: spousal support, legal fees, and zero claim on her family property. Amelia's freelance income couldn't cover their new apartment's rent, so Adam was working overtime to support 2 households while his divorce finalized. The romance was struggling under financial pressure. Turns out secret hotel weekends lose their magic when you're splitting grocery bills and arguing about whose turn it is to pay for utilities. Who could have predicted that? The surprising development was Bella. 6 weeks after Adam moved out, she texted asking if I wanted to grab coffee. Not for relationship talk or shared misery, just because she was bored, and I was one of the few people who understood the specific weirdness of our situation. Coffee became a regular thing. Bella was good company, smart, funny in a dry way, and completely uninterested in rehashing the past. We talked about work, movies, places we wanted to travel, Rangers training progress. Normal conversations between 2 adults who happened to share some unfortunate history. She'd started her own CPA practice after her divorce, focusing on small business clients who appreciated her attention to detail. 8 months post-divorce, we officially started dating. Took things slow. Coffee dates became lunch dates. Lunch became dinner. Dinner became weekend plans that included dog parks and bookstores and motorcycle rides through the Flint Hills. She fit on the back of the Scout like she belonged there. She asked good questions about the bike, appreciated the engineering, and never complained about wind or noise or distance. The chemistry was there. Amelia and Adam, meanwhile, were discovering that true love doesn't pay bills or resolve fundamental incompatibilities. Through the grapevine, I heard they were fighting about money, future plans, and whose fault it was that their respective divorces were so expensive. But that was background noise. My focus was forward: work, training, and relationships that respected me. I was living my best life. 10 months after filing, the divorce was nearly final. Tom had handled everything cleanly. I kept the house, Ranger, and my retirement accounts. Amelia kept her sad business, her car, and whatever dream she'd built with Adam. No alimony, exactly the break I'd wanted. Bella and I were solid. Just 2 people who enjoyed each other's company and were building something real without rushing the timeline. She'd started spending weekends at my place, and Ranger had adopted her completely. The dog was a good judge of character. Then, this happened. Lol. Friday night, my buddy Nate suggested checking out a new place downtown. Live music, decent food, good for catching up since we'd both been busy with work. Bella brought her friend Meredith, who Nate had mentioned wanting to meet. Double date potential. Nate had been trying to meet Meredith for months but was too stubborn to admit he needed help with introductions. Just happened to mention it to Bella, he'd said when I suggested setting something up. As we sat before the girls show up, Nate started. Bro, I'm kinda nervous. What do I say first? Nate, are you serious right now? Don't act all coy and shy. Shut you, Ezra. I just don't want to look cringy. Well, you kinda are, I teased. Fuck you. You're welcome. Then Bella and Meredith showed up. We'd been there maybe an hour when someone showed up. Guess who? Yup, Amelia. She looked rough, tired, stressed, like someone she'd been having around in a blender. Her hair was different, shorter, cheaper color job, and she'd lost weight she couldn't afford to lose. The confident woman who declared Adam her soulmate had been replaced by someone who looked like she was barely holding it together. Amelia spotted our table immediately and made a direct line over. Bella tensed beside me. Nate muttered, "Oh, never been better. Bad timing." Meredith looked confused. Ezra, I need to talk to you, Amelia said without preamble. Please, just 5 minutes. We're busy here, I replied. Talk to Tom. It's not about the divorce, it's about something else. Something important. Her voice had that strained quality that meant she was close to crying in public. Whatever was happening in her life, it wasn't going well. Fine, I said. You've got 5 minutes. Amelia and I walked to an empty corner near the back bar. She was shaking slightly. Adam's in trouble, she started. Real trouble. The police came to our apartment yesterday. There are charges. Federal charges. I waited for more information. Aha. Tax evasion, she continued. His company was involved in some scheme with fake contractors and unreported income. The FBI raided his office last week. His lawyer says he's looking at possible prison time. And I'm pregnant, Ezra. 2 months. She was crying now, trying to keep her voice low enough that other people couldn't hear. He's been different since the pregnancy. Now he's talking about running. He says the charges are bogus, and he won't go to prison for something that wasn't his fault. But if he runs, I'm stuck here alone with a baby and no support. She paused, waiting for me to say something. When I didn't, she continued. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you and destroyed our marriage for something that turned out to be a fantasy. But you're a good man, Ezra. You're stable and responsible, and you always took care of me. Maybe we could try again? Maybe this baby could be a fresh start for us? I shit you not. She actually had that nerve to say that. She looked at me with desperate hope, like I might suddenly say, Don't worry, I've got you, sweetheart. This woman who'd thrown away her marriage for a man who was apparently a criminal was now asking me to raise another man's child because her soulmate had turned out to be unreliable. The response came easily. And how does any of that concern me? Amelia's face crumpled. What do you mean? You made your choice. Got knocked up by your bestie who apparently is going to bail, and you want me to fix it for you. But I was wrong. I see that now. I made a huge mistake. Yes, you did. And that mistake is yours to live with, not mine to fix. You can't just walk away from me when I need help. Watch me. I started walking back toward our table. Amelia followed, voice getting louder and more desperate. You're really going to let your pregnant ex-wife struggle alone? What kind of man does that? I stopped and turned around. The bar was starting to notice the commotion, but I didn't care. Call Adam. He's your soulmate, remember? He's going to prison. Not my problem. Amelia's desperation turned to anger. You're pathetic. You never fought for our marriage. You just gave up like a coward. That's when Bella appeared at my side. Not possessive or territorial, just present, calm, put together, wearing a dress that probably cost more than Amelia's entire outfit. The contrast was stark. Everything okay here? Bella asked. Amelia looked between us, finally understanding that this wasn't some temporary rebound. Bella and I were together, serious, building something real while her fairy tale crumbled. Seriously? Amelia asked. Bella? You're dating her just to get back at us? Nope. I don't even think about you, Amelia. We're just enjoying life here. That's when she completely lost it. Started screaming about how I was vindictive and cruel. How Bella was a manipulative bitch who'd stolen her husband's best friend. How we were both pathetic for finding each other through shared misery. The language got creative, personal, and loud enough that security started moving our direction. Nate appeared with his phone out, recording Amelia's meltdown for posterity. Ma'am, you need to lower your voice or leave, the security guard said. I'm not going anywhere until I get some answers, Amelia yelled. Actually, you are, Nate said, still recording. Keep your hormonal ass away from here. Security escorted her toward the exit while she continued screaming about how we'd all regret treating her this way, how karma would catch up to us, how Adam was twice the man I'd ever be, even if he was going to prison. The bar went quiet for about 10 seconds after the door closed behind her. Then conversations gradually resumed, and the band started playing again. Nate sat down with a huge grin. Damn, I'm sending this to the boys? They're gonna love it. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the Amelia saga ended. Never heard from her again. I hope she's having fun as a single mom. Now tell me, how would you handle it?